energy. But Earth was unexpected. Commander Clithera pulsed a command through the neural lattice connecting the fleet, her light core flickering with curiosity. Deploy the probes. Begin observation of the dominant species. We seek their essence, what sustains them in this chaotic environment. Her subordinates obeyed, releasing a swarm of microscopic drones toward the surface, each programmed to analyze and report without interference. The first reports came from a coastal city where humans bustled beneath a star they called the sun. The drones hovered invisibly, scanning bodies in motion, a jogger sweating under the heat, a child shivering after plunging into the frigid ocean, a worker sipping scalding coffee without hesitation. Clithera's tendrils twitched as the data streamed in, her core dimming with confusion. These readings are anomalous, she transmitted to her science officer, fictional. Their internal temperatures fluctuate, yet they persist. Explain. Vixalan's core pulsed rapidly, processing the data. They exhibit a phenomenon we've not encountered, dynamic equilibrium. Their bodies self-regulate, adjusting heat, fluid, even chemical balance despite external extremes. They call it homeostasis. Homeostasis, Clithera repeated, the word alien to her silicate tongue. On Gyraxis, life thrived in rigid consistency, temperature deviations of a single degree could fracture their forms. Yet here were creatures enduring swings of dozens of degrees, their fleshy shells adapting in real time. How do they not shatter? She asked. They repair, Vixalan said, his light stuttering with disbelief. Observe this. He projected a hologram from a drone feed, a human slicing a finger on a shard of glass. Blood liquid life essence oozed out, a sight that made Clithera recoil. But within moments, the flow slowed, clotted, and the skin began to knit itself back together. They heal without external intervention. Their cells regenerate. The Gyraxi had no concept of regeneration. A crack in their silicate bodies required meticulous reconstruction by artisans, a process spanning cycles. Humans, it seemed, carried this ability within themselves, as casually as they carried their strange, flexible limbs. The fleet shifted focus, drones scattering to deserts, tundras, and jungles. In the Sahara, a nomad trudged through blistering sands, sipping sparingly from a canteen, his body conserving water with an efficiency that stunned Vixalan. Their systems recycle fluids internally, he reported. They lose moisture through this sweat, yet maintain function for days with minimal intake. In the Arctic, a researcher bundled in furs drink matter, he said, and transform it into power. No external reactors, no crystalline conduits, just their own forms. And they do this daily, without thought. Clithera pulsed a skeptical flare. Surely this is unsustainable. Such adaptability must exhaust them. But the drone showed otherwise. Humans slept, a brief shutdown of consciousness, and awoke restored. Their bodies repaired micro-damage, balanced their chemistry, and prepared for another cycle all autonomously. The Gyraxi held an emergency conclave aboard the flagship, their cores flickering in a symphony of awe and unease. We assumed sentience required stability, Clithera said. Yet these humans thrive in chaos. Their planet hurls storms, quakes, and radiation at them, and they bend, not break. They bend because they break, Vixalan countered, displaying a feed of a human recovering from a shattered leg. Encased in a crude brace, the bone regrew over weeks, guided by nothing but the body's own blueprint. Their fragility is their strength. They fracture, adapt, and emerge more resilient. The conclave fell silent as a new feed arrived, a human scaling a sheer cliff, fingers bleeding, breath ragged, yet grinning at the summit. The Gyraxi had no equivalent for this pushing beyond necessity, risking dissolution for what? Joy? Triumph? Their silicate minds, built for efficiency and survival, could not compute it. Clithera drifted to the observation dome, gazing at Earth's swirling clouds. We catalogue them as primitive, she mused. No interstellar travel, no unified consciousness. Yet they wield powers we cannot replicate. They defy entropy with every breath. Vixalan joined her, his core steadying. Perhaps their ignorance of these gifts is what drives them. They take homeostasis, regeneration, adaptability for granted because they've never known otherwise. A drone's alert interrupted them, a human in a white coat, peering through a primitive lens at a slide of cells. They study themselves, Vixalan said, astonished. They seek to understand what they already possess. Clithera's tendrils coiled thoughtfully. Then they may one day rival us not through mimicry, but through mastery of their own chaos. The Gyraxi lingered above Earth for cycles, compiling their findings into a report for the Galactic Archive. They titled it The Resilient Anomalies, a testament to a species that baffled them with its contradictions, fragile yet unbreakable, simple yet profound. As the fleet prepared to depart, Clithera cast one last glance at the planet below. They do not know their own marvels, she pulsed. But perhaps that is their greatest marvel of all. The ships vanished into the void, leaving Earth to its quiet miracles, human sweating, healing, and dreaming, oblivious to the eyes that had once watched in wonder.